Okay, so what do we have, Dave?
So we just went to that fish place, that pet place in Lancaster, PA, and we got an Aqueon 55-gallon QuietFlow Canister filter. So we're gonna unbox it and we're gonna set it up on the 55 that we have in the other room.
Okay, that makes sense. So what do we have here? Nicely packaged box.
Looks like we got all the tubes.
That's the tubes to just
Yeah, looks like we got all the tubes.
disperse the water over the tank.
And then here's the canister itself.
The unboxing. Yeah, that was probably the important side of it. And tubing.
And we got the valves for the flow there. And the suction cups to hold everything in. And we have the tubing here. Alright. It has labels on the top, in the outlet, so you know how it's going to work. Which is helpful. And then in this box here, we have the connection to put this on the top to put water back into the tank if you want to do that.
So that's the tubes. That's the option 1 to be straightening it up.
Yeah, and I believe there's a spray bar in the hard tubing section.
This is
Let's see if I can get this open. How would I do this one?
basically this is one thing.
So here's the 3 fittings for the spray bar. They have little clips to stick together. There's 4 fittings. And then there's this. Another U tube, and then the intake. Probably goes on one of these. Yeah, and then that connects to the soft tubing on the side of the tank.
So that's the
intake.
The intake.
And then here's the spray bar.
Okay.
So I guess you would connect that to this. Like there's about 10 suction cups in here. And then, let's see if I can get this open now. If you didn't want to use a spray bar and you wanted to have it hang on the back return, here it is. It looks like their normal filter with, if I take the tape off, it has a cartridge in it and a piece to hold it. And then there's that. And it comes with the lid that looks nice. And then there are the 2 valves that I believe either go in the pipe or connect to the top here.
So that's the canister filler you're opening up?
Yes. So here's the top all in one piece with the impeller. And then there's the top screen. So there was the plastic piece on top. And then there's some bio balls, the plastic kind. And then there's a coarse filter in the top tray. Next tray, it looks like we have activated carbon in a bag, inside of another bag. And then bottom drawer, we have ceramic media bio pellets. And that's everything for the canister. So it's smaller than most of the ones that I've seen. That looks like everything's here. So we're gonna rinse the media, and then we're gonna cut back to when we're installing it. So here we have the 2 connectors. We already put one on. So there's a control for the speed, the intake and the outtake. The output. And then these screw on. And then this piece up here, it appears that it tightens over the hose. So once you get this fully tightened down, You're then going to take the hose, make sure it's separated and it came bundled together. And you're going to put this over top of here. It's a hook fitting up, and then this tightens it so it makes it doesn't come off. And then you're going to do that again on this side. And then you're going to set the water flow to what you want. So I'm going to have it on max. And now I'm going to tighten this one down and do that.
When you're doing this, make sure you cock the valve so they're facing the same direction.
Yeah, I know, but this can still spin at first. Tighten. Okay. So that is pretty tight. And now that we have the lid together, it's right on here is a barb fitting. And it has one barb and it goes down, and then this one here tightens over the tubing once you push the tubing all the way in. And then that's to top it together. And then we have the porous media that we are going to have to rinse to make sure there's no dust on it. And then we're going to take the carbon out of the plastic bag and rinse that for about 30 seconds to a minute.
That has a net bag that it stays in, right?
Uh-huh. And then we're going to put this inside of our other thing here. And then we're going to put the 3 stacks back together. A filtration.
That's your bio balls, right?
Bio balls and coarse sponge. We're going to put it back inside of our canister. And then we're going to film putting it on the back of our tank. So we rinsed our ceramic media and let it absorb water. And now we're going to put that in. And then we also rinsed our carbon. And we're going to line that up with the next tray. Put that in. And then here's the bio balls and porous film. Foam going on the top. And then once you make sure all 3 are connected in there snugly, you have this, which goes over top of the hole, fits in there snugly, and then you will connect this on the top with these 4 latches to make sure it is nice and tight.
Should we fill the canister filter up first with water?
Yes,
so
you should.
Okay.
So it, I didn't read if this was self-priming or not, but it's always best if you don't know to make sure you have the canister or hang on the back filled with water before you start it, so it can start the suction to start pulling water in and putting it out.
Okay, so we remove this cap.
And we filled it up through the hole.
And we filled it up through the hole, and then you can see as I gently move it backwards and forwards that it's also letting the air bubbles escape. So by doing this, we were able to get as much air out of it as possible and to prime it. So on to the next step of installing everything, reconnecting it. We removed the shut-off valves with the hoses that we'd connected previously because these are just plastic and we don't want any additional weight on them, because having too much weight, especially while moving it around, is going to cause them to crack and break. So as we do not want that to happen, we took them off.
So, we just put the canister back here behind the tank, and now we're going to connect the tubes to it. And then we should hopefully, this canister should hopefully do what we need it to do and clean the water nicely. But we also have guppies breeding in this tank. So if it's slow enough flow that doesn't show up guppy fry, but fast enough flow that can clean the tank, that's going to be the true test, hopefully.
So Dave, you're installing the intake now?
Yes, I'm installing the intake on this side, and I'm going to put the output on the other side.
Did you rotate the Aqueon filter in the correct direction?
Mm-hmm.
How's the connection going? Easy?
Yeah, if you hold it at the right angle, it screws on nicely.
Are the lids going to be able to go back in similar location?
They're going to go back in the exact same location.
That's good. Looks like our dog is trying to investigate what is going on and why is David behind the tank. He's like, I'm pretty sure I want to be back there with him.
Okay, so we just connected the intake and then the outtake after we filled it up with water, and then we burped it as it was sucking air, sucking water down, and then it took about a minute and a half for all the air in the lines to be taken out and this tube to be filled up, and then once it's done, you would burp the canister again, so it gets all the air that it just sucked.
How did you burp it?
By shaking it back and forth a little bit.
Gently.
Huh?
Gently shaking it back.
Gently jiggling it, or if you had one, if you got, I believe it's a bigger one, they have a
prime button
that you push to push the air out.
Okay.
So we just the canister filter hooked up, and then all the leaves over here were here with the trias in it, and it needed to be cleaned. So it moved it around, and pushed all the guppy fry out that were feeding off of the detritus. Now they're flowing around the bottom now, but they're finding their way back to the leaves. Now there's like 30 of them in this tank.
Awesome.
So
Would you say this is quieter than what we had in there?
it's quieter than the Bio Wheel 360 we had in there, and
What make was that?
that was a Penguin model.
A Penguin. Okay.
And we now have the what was it? The
Aqueon 200, I think it is.
Aqueon. So we now have the Aqueon, which is quieter, and it looks nicer, a cleaner aesthetic. So you will give a 2 or 3 day update when everything is nice and clean.